Corner Radio is brought to you by my film company, Sick Flick Productions. Sick Flick Productions is a Virginia-based film production company specializing in horror and sci-fi fantasy. Go to sickflickproductions.com to find out more information. And now on to the show. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Indie Corner Radio. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with
Madeline Deering, director of Spirit Animal. Nice to see you again.
Spirit Animal, man. We're definitely gonna dive into that soon. But before then, I just realized that you were a co-writer of Breeding Farm, which I have not seen, but I've heard of. So you're not proud of that movie or anything?
Not super proud. There was some stuff. I mean, that's out of print. It's hard to find. You can still find copies once in a while. I saw one on like Grindhouse Video a while back, but it's not easy to find. There were some legal issues and stuff.
Oh, that sucks.
But yeah, not my best work, but I learned a lot from the experience, and it was a fun time at the time.
Did you co-write it or did you write it yourself?
Oh, I co-wrote it. The main writer came up with the idea, and I wrote a script based off of his idea, or based off his original script. So I would say co-writer, but I kind of wrote the main script, and then some other stuff was added. And I was also an assistant director, and I acted in it and co-produced it, so I had a lot to do with it.
It's funny because we had a assistant director on our shoot that ended up being also the line producer and then a producer, and then so like a lot of times in the indie world you kind of
wear different hats.
You wear a lot of different hats. Why did that happen? All right.
Yeah, I don't know why it happened.
But anyway, yeah, that's crazy. That I'm like, that's the thing.
Yeah, that was the first film I really co-wrote and that got produced and everything. So it's a huge deal. Troma distributed it for a short while before it got pulled and then just kind of shelved.
Do they still own the rights to it?
I believe the director owns the rights to it.
Okay. Well, just wondering. I don't know much about it or anything, but I've heard
not many people do.
I don't know how I heard the name, but I've heard of it.
Probably on IMDb, or maybe someone talked. It comes up once in a while, but I feel like it should be one of those movies people really try to track down just because it's so rare and hard to find, but no one really talks about it. But
it's funny because you're right. Out of print movies, OOP movies are always no matter what they are, it could be the worst piece of crap movie and it deserves to be OOP, but people want it because of the value. I showed off my DVD collection once, right?
Yeah.
Not all of it, obviously, but a bunch of I think it was more of my indie movies and stuff. And this guy was like, and there was this movie called Loop. And I got a copy of it because I interviewed the director, which was Pericles Loons, who did
Redneck
Zombies. And I interviewed him, so he'd sent me a copy of Loop, and I got to watch it and interviewed him, right? And so this dude, one of the dudes, I forgot his name, I don't remember who said it, but somebody was freaking out about it. It was like, oh my God, you got a copy of that movie. He was willing to buy it from me and stuff because it's out of print and very hard to find and everything. And I mean, I was almost tempted because I don't really watch it or whatever. But then I was thinking, if I do this, I'm probably never going to see it again, or whatever.
Exactly.
Not gonna have it in my collection. So it's one of those tough decisions. Do I keep it? do I, give it away or just sell it? Would never give it away if it's that like sort of that valuable. But
Yeah, settle
I,
for something even if it's not.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I get, start getting homeless or something, I'll be like, hey, did you want this movie?
You got some gold there.
I know,
I've
maybe.
heard of Loop, I think. I mean, I'm a huge Redneck Zombies fan because
Yeah,
obviously I'm a fan of SLV. Redneck Zombies is awesome. So I've
Redneck
heard of Loop here and there.
and Redneck Zombies is like one of those trauma movies that just doesn't feel like a trauma movie. Like it feels, I hate to say it, but it feels better than that.
Oh, yeah. I always thought the running time was a little long, but I adore Redneck Zombies overall. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. Deodorant kills the zombies. What else do you need to know? Like, if anyone's watching this and hasn't seen it, that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, hilarious. The
I
character that wears different shirts in like every shot, hilarious. Everything about it, it's so good.
do you think that's where they got the idea from for have you seen the movie?
Lamageddon.
Yeah, Lamageddon. Do you think that's where they got it? You see,
I don't know.
you
It seems like
obviously
a
knew what it
gag
was.
anyone could come up with, but either way, like Lamageddon, I was watching that with my mom, and she thought it was hilarious. His shirt just kept changing between shots. I love Lamageddon. I thought it was one of the best of 2020.
Really? Yeah,
So funny. I mean,
it
it's a blast.
it's so goofy. We I guess I don't know if anybody this will be out sometime in May, so and then I think June or July is when it comes out. We're definitely gonna be doing a review of that.
Yeah,
That's already gonna come out. It's just further down. I can't say what it's for yet, but we did a review
of
of it
course.
already and all that stuff. So it's gonna be a little bit before. I think it's like July, like late July that it comes out. But that's the thing with this is doing these shows like like way ahead of time.
Oh, I don't know how you keep track. I couldn't.
Well, a lot of times I just get them done and then put them up already and kind of figure out where they're gonna go at what time
Uh-huh.
exactly. Like, because we've done a bunch of reviews together,
Yes, we
so
have.
already, and I think I'm gonna have you in more. So just get ready.
I'm
Um,
ready.
I
I'm
know,
always ready.
I know we want you on Indie Film Cafe at some point, closer probably to summer. To
Yeah,
do a shitty shark movie. You know,
always down for that.
and
As
that
you know.
that'll be what we'll talk about in a little bit. But I want to get right into Spirit Animal.
Yes.
Obviously that's like what you're most known for and everything. And that's the newest project and everything. It's out now. People can buy it now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
From my Facebook page. I don't have a web store. I'm hopeful distribution in the future, but can't say anything more than that. But I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this: when I first started watching, because I just knew the name, I didn't know what it was about.
Yeah,
I didn't do any research beforehand because
that's the best way to watch anything,
yeah,
in my
th-
opinion.
right, because then sometimes you get spoiled and spoilered, and you're like, oh man, I don't, man, this kind of ruined
Exactly.
everything. So, by the way, the spoiler warning. So if you haven't seen Spirit Animal, I suggest watching it before watching this interview because we're about to talk. I can't discuss this movie with you without spoiling,
Of
stuff.
course.
So first of all, the movie starts off with a bunch of kids at camp and the guy talking about the
Spirit
at a
animals.
bonfire talking about spirit animals, bonfire campfire, and the one of the kids actually says like all of the animals are spirit animals. But later you see the killer, was the killer the kid? I mean, it was, but how did that happen? Like, I understand. See, I understand when it's Jason, because I
Uh-huh.
I get that. See, I get that. Like, I get that. I don't know if that's what you're going with like how Jason was a kid and then he drowned in the lake, and then years
Mhm.
later he's an adult after he's drowned in the lake. It doesn't make
Yeah,
any
I mean it's
sense,
20
but
years later. But
exactly.
if you're talking about that first scene where the kid with the buffalo mask kills the counselor. Well, I had to put the buffalo mask on because the kid was like afraid of wearing a mask. Great kid. He did a good job, but he didn't want to wear a mask. And I guess that was kind of just something that slipped our minds before we started shooting. So it's pretty obvious it's an adult, but
It's an adult.
yeah.
That's like, because I was like, wait a minute. I was like, so I
So
thought
it's
the
just
whole
kind
time.
of
So I thought the whole time it was an adult. Like what I thought originally that you were going with was that like the spirit of the spirit animal
mhm.
was the killer, right? But then you start talking about the kid, and I'm like, wait a minute. And so, like, throughout the whole movie, when it becomes like 20 years later or whatever, it makes sense. It's
Yeah,
fine.
20 years
But,
later.
like, yeah, but like when it's there, I'm just like, this is a little weird. Like, there's a kid that's murdering them, but he's like, I don't know, he grew, and so yeah, it was you who was wearing the buffalo mask and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was me.
Well, I mean, it worked. I absolutely adored the movie itself. I mean,
Oh, thank you.
even with that, like, because I think that kind of adds to the camp a little bit.
I hope
You
so.
know, because if people are like, "Oh no, I don't like this movie," the person all of a sudden the kid's a giant, and the for
Yeah,
you shouldn't have been. Because I mean, it could have also been like you could have dissolved to like 20 years later. Camp counselor is, whatever, but it was literally supposed the kid disappears and is never seen again. Where, I mean,
yeah,
I
that's
just,
what it was written.
yeah, but
And like living in the woods, raised by animals, whatever. The kid was what Michael Puskar, if I pronounced that right. He was a good kid. I mean, he did a great job and everything. Just didn't
he,
want to wear the mask, so we had to improvise. And
yeah,
there's actually I don't know if you watched the outtakes, but I wanted to keep this in here, but there was a scene where I had the mask on and I like they had a Christmas tree lying around. Tom Gross, we filmed at his house if you're familiar with Gross
I
Fest.
know, yeah, I know Tom.
Yeah, Tom and Tim are awesome. Tim was in the opening scene. They're both amazing.
Oh wow,
But
cool.
like they had this like Christmas tree type thing lying around, and I like pulled it out of the ground and threw it aside. I thought it'd be hilarious if the kid did it, but it didn't really work in the movie.
Oh my god, I never knew that Tim and Tom are brothers.
Yes, they are. Yeah,
Did not even know
Tim and
that.
Tom
I
Gross.
I
Yeah,
did not know that. That's crazy. You learn a new thing every day, but
yeah.
like, I mean, I just thought they had the same last name. A lot of times
No,
people do, like I know a Brandy Gross, so I'm like,
well
it
maybe
didn't,
that's their long lost sister.
or yeah, well, she wanted to be an actress at one point, so I wouldn't be surprised.
There we go.
I'm still friends with her. I'll ask her. You know Tim and Tom? Oh yeah, they're my cousins. You know, I
Wouldn't
mean,
that
like,
be
are they all
hilarious?
grosses like related? Maybe. I don't know. Um. Oh God, I hope Tim and Tom watch this.
I
Um.
hope so.
But yeah, no, that's awesome because I no, I adore what I adored about this movie the most was that it had that 90s fun because I know that's like basically it's and that's the other thing too is most people try to go and do 80s
Yeah,
everything, right? And so everything's 80s. Oh, this is a throwback to 80s. And I think we're getting to that point now where it'd be good to go back to the 90s and start because people are doing a lot of nostalgia and
yeah.
re
Which makes me feel old, but
it makes me feel old too. I'm probably about your age anyway, so but yeah, I mean when 90s songs are on the classics channel,
oh
that's on the radio stations, you're
yeah.
a little worried about it. But yeah, no, it was wonderful because well, of the 90s stuff because 90s were a different time period and
Of course.
feels like a shot on video 90s movie. They
That's what I was going for. And the DVD comes with like a Dingo pizza menu, and it has a coupon that expires like 12/31/94. So I was going for the 90s. Like the Dingo pizza commercial in the beginning was kind of like made me think of like Home Alone, where they had like I think it was a Pepsi commercial at the beginning because obviously that movie was sponsored by Pepsi.
Right.
And part two had a American Airlines, obviously, even though American Airlines, I don't know why they would sponsor it. I mean, they're the idiots who let Kevin go on a plane and go to New York, but they still sponsor it and they have an American Airlines commercial.
Well, I
So
mean,
I thought it would be funny if Dingo Pizza was, a sponsor and they had their commercial right at the beginning. So that was like kind of and that was a 90s thing.
it's so funny because if you think about it, and then this goes off topic a little bit, but you did mention Home Alone 2.
Of course.
And in that scene where he's like, "Oh, my dad's over there," that's my dad. Like, who the frick does not check your the
No.
like still, hey buddy, I know we're approaching liftoff, but let me double check. No, this you're supposed to be going to France or whatever. We need to get you on the right plane. Like that was one of the, I mean, who wrote that? Chris Columbus? Did he write that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Or
what
no,
was
John Hughes, right?
John Hughes wrote it? Okay,
Chris Columbus directed it. Yeah.
directed it. Yeah. So he must have just been like, John Hughes must have been just lazy. Like, how do we explain this? Oh, well, like, let's just have him do that. Like, it could have been cool, like some other way. Like, there's a million other ways they could have done that, but then they were trying to go back to the well of like, let's get him lost on the plane, or
Yeah.
whatever,
Well, I mean, I love Home Alone too. I
And
actually prefer it over the first, which is probably rare, but I
probably
love Home
because of
Alone.
Tim Curry and,
Yeah,
Rob
Tim Curry
Schneider
is
and,
awesome.
you
Rob
know,
Schneider, of course.
all those
Got a
people
great
were,
cast.
oh yeah. But if you look at it, it is ridiculously like
Oh,
flawed.
it's ridiculous. The
It's
whole
like,
point of the movie is not to wear the same jacket as someone else. I mean,
all right, last thing about Home Alone 2. How the hell do the burglars go to the same place? Like, that's just,
oh, what a
come on.
coincidence, right?
Jeez, right? Well, they could have had two more burglars, two different burglars that he has
But
to.
then it wouldn't have been the same. You need Marv and Harry.
I know, and they have to become the Sticky Bandits, which sounds like a ridiculous porn title, but
Yeah, it was.
the Sticky Bandits. But yeah, starring Ron Jeremy. All right. Anyway,
Like you wouldn't watch that. Like any of us wouldn't watch
I would
that.
watch that,
I would too.
especially if it were Home Alone, like like Home Alone and then Home Alone porn, except not with children, with adults,
Oh
But
yeah, yeah. I mean, okay.
let's-
I think we've reached the end of this conversation.
yeah, this is going a little bit bad, off the rails. All right, now let's go back to Spirit Animal, and now we
Yeah,
bring you back to your, um,
regularly scheduled program.
exactly. So the thing I asked you before the show too is that did you get to keep the masks, or did you
Oh
did you
yeah,
keep the masks? I mean, they're obviously yours, right? You bought them
yes,
yourself and everything for the production. Can we see them? That's the big thing.
yeah. Some of them I have. I have the. This is a the shark mask, which is me wearing the shark mask. This is like a maskable. This was the first mask I got. My mom got this at like Walmart for like a couple bucks because I think it was after Halloween, and all you can.
Nice, nice. How many
Yeah.
masks did you use? Like, it felt like close to like 7, but how many did you?
Um. God, I'd have to really think about it.
Yeah, you used a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
and each one was like set up differently, though. I was kind of I was disappointed that the dog was used on two different people, you and the other girl, and the other girl that were in the scene, the arf dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, I was kind of disappointed. I thought there was going to be another mask, to just pull out another mask
Oh
for
yeah,
each
no. But I
person.
love both those dog scenes, so
I do too. It was
and
a
my
lot of
death
fun.
scene is yeah.
It was silly, and especially they make you Oh, okay. We're gonna, once again, there are spoilers
Yeah.
ahead. So, if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, don't listen. But yeah, you beg for your your
Yeah.
which I thought he was gonna change like because he was like beg, and I thought you were gonna like beg for a treat or something, or whatever, and then you're begging for your life, and I thought that was kind of a cool like
Yeah.
twist
The
on it.
the funny thing is, like, that wasn't in the original script. I had Jennifer Louise, she plays Lisa. She came over to like read the lines with me because I didn't know my lines. I wrote the script, and I think we just kind of came up with that on the fly. That was kind of her idea to like have sit, bag, all that stuff. So we added that kind of like last minute. And
Plus,
it worked so well. I'm glad it wasn't just me getting the stick shoved up my ass. It was like little more suspense and build up. So that worked out really well. And I worked a good thank you for that.
yeah, the stick in the ass and all that stuff was reminded me so much of like I don't know if you're a fan of like Chris Seaver and his kind of stuff, his kind of humor,
Mhm.
but it kind of reminded me of that, like kind of
It was
silly.
more supposed to be Todd Sheets and which I do like Chris Seaver, by the way, but Todd Sheets and I mean, I wanted a Cannibal Holocaust reference, like the stick going up and out the mouth, but that's not really the way it turned out. But that's okay. But that's still, to me, my Cannibal Holocaust reference.
I've never seen that movie. I will not watch it.
That's okay.
Because I've heard that they killed a real life animal in the making
They
of the
did,
movie,
yeah.
and I won't watch it. Like
That's okay.
it's my personal thing. Like I've heard so
Yeah,
many people talk about it, and I mean, and have been times I was like, oh man, maybe I should watch it because everybody talks about it. But then
there
I'm
is
like,
an animal cruelty free version, but you'll still know,
yeah, that's the
just
thing.
the movie in general. So I understand.
Yeah, no, I can't. And that's why I'm really glad at the end of your movies that no animals were harmed in the making of your
No,
movie. And of course, there was a big animal that was harmed, and I was like, oh, like that. It was sad, because I like that. I liked him, but geez, yeah, everything I say is have to be a spoiler because,
that's okay. We can talk about the dog later.
yeah.
Animal.
Oh, it's so sad. But it's nice. It was like the whole movie was just sort of a lot of fun. There was just so much that happened in the movie that like I mean, you just did a one filmmaker, one film with podcast with John Ward
I did,
talking
yeah.
about this movie, and I did not listen to it yet because I wanted
How dare you? You know what? Get off of here and
well, I wanted to watch the movie first
of
before
course,
I did not
because
want to get
there were
spoiled.
some spoilers in there,
I'm
I believe.
I would hope so. That's talking all about the movie after like if you didn't actually if you were talking about the movie and you weren't doing spoilers, then
It'd be hard to do.
it'd be hard. Yeah, we can't even do it here.
Exactly.
Um so hopefully the people that are watching this are fans of your work and have already seen it.
And
You know,
here's this is the dingo. He's missing his hat.
the dingo.
The
Is
dingo
that
ate your pizza.
Is that how you got the name for Dingo Pizza?
So actually, what's really funny is when I was in film school, I wrote this movie called Alan, or it was a short film. That's my dream project. I want to turn it into a feature. You may have heard me talk about it before. I'm sure other people have. But the main character, Alan, in that movie works for a place called Dingo Pizza. The dingo ate your pizza, which was a reference to Seinfeld. The dingo ate your baby.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a terrible impression. But so that's kind of how I came up with the idea for Dingo Pizza, but it's kind of like shown up in all my films and probably will. And honestly, I didn't expect Dingo Pizza to take off as much as it has, but people really seem to enjoy it. So,
Sweet.
but
I
that's
love
where it
that.
came from. Yeah,
So yeah, so the dingo ate your baby, everything was originally in something else. Then now it's part of your like, part of your whole universe, I guess, if you
exactly. Yeah,
so it's all connected to the dingo, you know.
Pretty much, which is weird, but that's super cool.
That is kind of cool. Like if you have another, there's going to be other pizzas, you know. I like that. I think that's a really cool kind of thing.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I mean, 'cause I love connected stuff. You know,
Me too.
I grew up watching Few Skew, you know, Kevin Smith movies and
Yep.
everything. So I grew up watching what is it? I grew up watching the movies like The Clerks and Chasing Amy, all of them connecting, and
Yep.
I was like, and then I would read the comics, and I would, you know what I mean? I would do all these things, and I'd be like, oh my
Oh,
god, they all like they all work, you know? And so
I
I've
love connecting universes, and I always wanted to do that. But at the same time, I'd like to reuse some of the same actors, and like, well, you have to like, I don't know, it's tough.
that's why in my movies there's doppelgangers.
Yeah.
Every in my universe, everybody in the universe has doppelgangers, not just one, so that we can use them, you know, use them to
Yeah,
have them play
that's
different roles and everything. And that's how we explain it. However, people could still be like, oh, that's bullshit, you know, or
yeah,
whatever. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's my universe. I can do whatever I want. But that's the only way
exactly.
I can explain that because, like, somebody pointed out in Marvel, so I watched this like pitch videos or whatever, like parody pitch videos of like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've seen them or not on YouTube, but
No.
there's this guy talking to himself basically, but it's like he's pitching the movie to a Marvel, right, or whatever. And they always point out like that what is it? You know, oh, they mentioned Hot Tub Time Machine in Avengers Endgame. Oh, that's great because wasn't Sebastian Stan in that movie? And so, like, you know what I mean? Like, how's
Yeah.
that movie in that universe if the actor from that movie plays the Winter Soldier and stuff? So it's like stuff like, you know, Big Lebowski. They mentioned the Big Lebowski. They call him they pair, you know, they poke fun of Fat Thor that way and stuff. So it like it makes sense that these actors would act in other things, but how is that, you know, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
they can't play more than one role, right? They can't kind of cross into like, you know, you don't see Captain America or Chris, you know, Chris Evans coming back and playing, you know, somebody else because it wouldn't work, right? It
Two
would
roles.
people might be
Yeah.
confused. So that's why we had to create the doppelgangers thing, and it
Yeah.
works. So if you
Yeah.
want to steal that too, go right ahead.
Well, my
You
main
know,
idea was to keep it connected. Part of it is Keith Monahan, he plays Timmy. Timmy's a fan favorite, I think.
mm-hmm.
And I was
Fuck
like,
you,
well, he's
Timmy.
gonna be like, yeah, fuck the environment.
Fuck you,
He's gonna
Timmy.
be like Kenny, and he's just gonna come back in every film I do, and he's just gonna be alive and die. He's just gonna come back like
I
playing the
like that.
same character. That was my main idea. Like just for him, like other people can come back and play different characters. I don't care about
But you want him to play the same character just because, you know, why not, right?
because Timmy.
Because he's
Timmy's a
funny.
great character. It's funny,
Just
even if just for a moment.
they killed Timmy. You
You
bastards.
bastards.
But no, I love that. You know, I can see a lot of your sense of humor is like in line with like you know, cartoons and stuff too, right? Like did you grow up watching like South Park and you
Oh
know
yeah, I'm a
all-
huge South Park fan.
South Park and what is it? Family Guy and
I never got into Family Guy, but
really?
yeah, surprisingly,
Oh wow. Simpsons
Family
were you
Guy and Family Guy. I'm sorry, South Park and Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I watch. I love Aqua Teen.
I think I met the guy who does the voice of Master Shake,
Oh, is that
and
Dave Willis?
no,
No,
I
not Dave Willis.
I'm
Oh my
now
God, what
feeling
is his name?
really
That's a huge Aqua Teen
Dana
fan.
Snyder,
Yeah, Dana Snyder. Oh my God, I knew
and
that.
it was funny. I interviewed him, and he was so nice, but like we had to do it when he wasn't busy, you know, like there wasn't a huge line or there
Yeah.
wasn't any line at the particular time, thank God. And so we were doing this interview, and at first he was kind of joking on me, just like how I'd imagine he would. And I was kind of letting him, like whatever, like I
Yeah.
didn't take anything personally or get mad, or whatever. I just let him. And then I think he realized, oh crap, this guy is, like, he's letting me do this. All right. So, cause he's like started like, let me interview you, I was like,
Oh, I bet he seems hilarious.
he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You really get to meet a lot of really cool people when you go to like these conventions
Oh
and
yeah.
everything. Who's the biggest celebrity you got to meet?
Uh, I mean, I briefly met Tara Reid and had her sign my Sharknado
Oh, see,
Blu-ray.
okay.
So I'm a
So
huge Sharknado fan.
are you okay? Because I know I
Yeah.
mean, you're into sharks and especially shitty shark movies, but a lot of people call like Sharknado like the king of that, but like, is it really? Like I don't know because like it's sort of like they knew what they were doing in a way. They
Yeah.
didn't know how big it was going to blow up,
Well, yeah. I mean,
but
I love asylum movies, as you know. I know
mhm.
you've been in a few, and
I've only been
Sharknado
in
was.
one, but
Oh, I
you
thought you
know,
were more. And either way,
no, I wish, but no, just one.
Sharknado was a huge inspiration to me. And it's just like they came up with that ridiculous idea and like they kept it going for 6 movies, and that's very inspirational to me. You don't see that with like independent made for TV movies too often.
Well, I mean, and I think that's a little bit of why independent films get away with a lot more stuff because
Yeah,
they have that I don't give a fuck kind of attitude. Like, there's nobody telling you not to do something, you know?
exactly.
Even the guys who do Asylum, they really don't, you know,
I
they're
mean, they just
probably
made what, Ape versus, or what is it? Wait,
Ape
what's the
versus
name
Monster.
of it? Yeah,
That's
I can't
literally the
wait.
title. Which I'm actually tonight I'm gonna watch Kong versus Godzilla because it's the end of the like it's
Oh,
about to like be done on HBO Max. I still haven't seen it, and
it's
I gotta.
awesome.
I
I mean, I
imagine.
thought it was awesome,
I
but
imagine because Adam Wingard I think is like
a great director, and I kind of wish he would go back to doing movies like, The Guest, but
the guest was amazing.
oh my God. I
Your
don't know. I
next was
don't,
pretty good. I like
this
that.
is still off topic. Yeah, Your Next was awesome, but I don't know. Him doing these big franchises, I kind of just wish he'd go back to doing like that type of stuff. But kind of like I wish Peter Jackson would do Bad Taste and Dead Alive
Oh no,
movies.
no,
But
that's never gonna happen.
it's not gonna happen, but I wish it would happen because Bad Taste and Dead Alive are fucking masterpieces.
The best you'll get right now is that he'll release all those on like 4K or something,
Yeah, which they're
or whatever.
supposed to do.
Yeah, so like that's the best you're gonna get because unfortunately he's kind of like that's the thing with Adam Wingard. He's
Yeah,
he's
he's moved
he's moved
on.
on. You don't move backwards. Unless sadly unless you're Scott Derrickson who left Doctor Strange and now he's doing another Blumhouse movie. So I kind of feel bad, but then again, like he's getting to do what he wants to do. You know what I mean?
That's what matters. People doing what they want to do.
So hopefully it's good. It's just I was just really bummed because I was seeing Scott Derrickson moving up and doing something,
Yeah.
with Doctor Strange. I mean, have you seen Doctor Strange?
No,
Like
I haven't.
oh my god, it's a freaking amazing. And now Sam Raimi is doing Doctor Strange in the
Yeah.
multiverse of madness, and I'm excited too. Like I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome. I hope if they do another Doctor Strange movie, it's another big, horror director that I love, like John Carpenter. Can you imagine him working for Marvel?
I don't think John Carpenter is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure if he were paid,
If he got the right opportunity and the right paycheck, yeah, but
yeah, I don't know. It's just to me, it's
he
fun.
didn't
So
go out on a great note with the Warren, but it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. It was just was.
that's true. The war, I never even seen it actually.
It
Um,
was had a very obvious twist ending, and I don't. It's not memorable because I don't really remember it that well, and I know I own it.
It's not memorable because you don't remember it.
Well, it's just wasn't
No,
a
I'm just
memorable. It was like a paint by numbers type of movie, you know?
right. And there's a lot of them out there, unfortunately, now because people can just sort of get financing for whatever, like if
Yeah,
it's, especially if you have a name like John Carpenter, you can be like,
exactly.
and I think he's kind of been phoning it in for years, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Ghost of Mars. I mean, you know,
Yeah, I'm not
come
a
on.
huge fan of that.
Yeah, I think he's just sort of been whatever. But you know what?
He's
Uh,
allowed to.
he's a lot. He's made so many great movies that many more people have. I mean, we all strive to be that way one day.
Exactly. I mean, I strive to just be the way where I could maybe make some type of big blockbuster and then make something I want to make with that type of money, kind of like David Lynch. Like when he made Dune, he was able to make Blue Velvet, which is one of his best films.
It's funny because you and I are completely different on like taste of things.
I
Because
know.
when you said like somebody doing a big budget thing and then doing a smaller thing, I automatically thought of Richard Linklater, who did like
Oh,
Dazed
I
and
love
Confused,
Richard Linklater though.
who did like Dazed and Confused, then he did
Yep.
like Before Sunrise, and
Yep.
then he does a big Hollywood movie like School Rock, then he does, any other any other indie film that he does,
He's amazing. I mean, I was gonna say Soderbergh too, who
Soderbergh is
also
another one.
does.
But he does that too, but he's mainly been doing Hollywood stuff. Like including that freaking one that that predicted the predicament we're in right now.
Oh yeah, that's the most terrifying movie ever made, and that was why I'm terrified. I was terrified of a pandemic over 10 years ago when I saw it.
Well, did
The
you really?
biggest fear
I didn't
in
think it
my
was that
life, and when we,
terrifying, but I don't know. Maybe I need to rewatch it. I
I
watched
found
it
it,
during the pandemic, of course. You know,
yeah.
um,
I mean, I watched it before, and it was terrifying.
yeah, it's just
I haven't been able to rewatch it, and I own it.
well, sort of like, I mean, yeah, but it's sort of like exactly where we're at right now,
Yep. I
and
mean, the disease in the movie isn't at. I mean, it's more deadly than what we're dealing with, but still.
I mean, they introduced words to us that got, is now part of our lexicon, like freaking social distancing
Yeah.
and stuff, which that was in that movie, and I didn't watch the movie before the pandemic, so I wasn't prepared, I guess, for what
Have
could
to
happen. You know,
watch it again sometime. But
it's a pretty damn good movie,
I
and
thought it was a very good movie, but again, it was terrifying to me.
well, it might be even more terrifying now because, like,
Yeah.
now that
Well,
you're actually living through it, like,
exactly.
um, so yeah, what are your top favorite movies?
Top favorite? Like
Yeah,
Toxic Avenger is my favorite movie of all time.
is that why you have the mask?
It's not well, why? Oh yeah, the mask is in there. Now that
Which
was like something my mom got from Walmart. It was like a toxic mask. It wasn't like Toxic Avenger. It was like a rip off. But yeah, he wears
oh,
that in the opening, and that's so funny when he comes in with the squirt gun, the shark squirt gun.
the
Because
shark
if
squirt gun.
we didn't mention there's a drinking game with the movie, if you played.
That's true. We didn't mention that earlier, but they do mention in the beginning of the movie that there's
Yeah,
a drinking game. Like,
every time you see a shark, you take a drink. And if you know me, I load my movies with sharks.
I know you do. You've created your whole necro shark company, for that. So I think that's awesome. Is that do you think that's going to be your company forever? Like that's just
I
going to be
hope so.
what you
Yeah.
call all your movies as Necro Shark? Was it Necro Shark Productions
Yeah,
or
Necro
Pictures?
Shark films or
Oh,
whatever.
Necro Shark Studios.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and Killer Nerd is another favorite, and Toby Radloff's in the movie. Um,
You
if you're
have him
familiar with
cursed.
Killer Nerd
You
and
have him
Toby
cursed,
Radloff.
which I was very surprised.
What?
You have him curse in the movie. He curses. I
Oh yeah.
forgot what he says exactly, but I was like, It's the weird thing to hear the killer nerd cursing, because I don't remember him cursing in any of the killer nerd slash
No,
stuff.
my
So
favorite line from Toby was, "I've got some wood for you," because he's,
a
obviously a
tree,
tree.
which I was like, okay, this is so weird, movie already, because like already there's a killer person walking around with killing people because of spirit animal stuff, and then there's a talking tree, and then there's what I mean, like it's just all over the place in a way, but in a good way. Like it's not like it's not one of those movies where you're like, okay, I don't feel comfortable because this is just so like so weird, like they didn't know what they were doing or something. Like
Yeah.
what you're doing. It's kind of like
Yeah.
Lawmageddon, and I can see why you like Lawmageddon, because
Oh
it's
yeah.
sort of like that, where they sort of know where they're with everything what they're
It's
doing.
like off the wall type of humor. I mean,
um
this gets more and more ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely. I really think Spirit Animal should be like reviewed by the Bloodbath and Beyond guys. I bet they would love this movie.
I'll
You
have
know,
to try to send it to them.
I think you could, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I think they take submissions.
Yeah.
I tried submitting my movie, Scary Stories Slumber Party, and they replied that they don't do anthologies. And I
How do they
get it.
not do anthologies?
They can't, like, I get it. I get it as a reviewer. It's hard because then you have to look at every single short, and then you have to, like, basically you have to rate those, you know what I mean? So like it's
Yeah.
tough as a thing. So if you noticed on their show, they don't do, anthologies. I
I
mean,
never noticed.
I mean, I noticed after they told me that, and I was like, oh wait, they
Yeah.
don't. Okay, well, if they had told me that, and then I saw that they were doing anthologies, I'd be like, you liars, like you just didn't want to review my movie, you know. Maybe
Yeah.
they didn't. I don't know, but they that's what they told me. But Spirit Animal would be something I think that they would get a kick out of.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those movies where it's just so off the wall that people would enjoy it. So you right now are self-distributing. Are you
Yeah.
planning at any time to have it be distributed by someone?
Yeah. Hoping. So,
You got a couple like people in mind or something?
yeah. I can't really say
Okay, I
anything.
know. I'm not saying I'm not telling you to
I
ask.
know, but
Yeah. No,
yeah,
I get it.
hoping, because I definitely want to get on streaming and really get it out there. And mailing all your copies and stuff yourself is exhausting, especially I work two jobs. It's just it can be too much a lot of times.
Yeah, I
So
don't envy anybody who does. I used to have to do that. I used to have to mail out
yeah,
all
it's
my copies of stuff, and it just got annoying because I'd have to wait till I got a bunch of them together, so that way I didn't have to go every day. So
exactly.
so some people would be mad because they get it like a week, whatever, and I'd be like, well, I've got 3, 5 people asking me, so I'm just making sure
Yeah.
I've got all the
Luckily,
copies.
people were very understanding that I have a lot going on and I got things out when I could.
So it'd be great to have distribution. That's
Yeah, definitely.
what we all hope for our
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, and streaming seems to be like every so it's hard, to like say stuff. Streaming is, and I posted about this recently. Streaming doesn't pay you enough,
Mm,
these days. And so that's fine if you just want your content out there, you
yeah,
just want
exactly.
to get views and everything. Streaming is great, but if you really want money from, you want to make a business out of this, you need to just sell copies or something, or whatever.
Definitely. Because that's one reason why I was kind of against putting it on Amazon Prime. I mean, I'm sure I could have done that easy, but I was like, well, I'd rather try to get on Tubi or whatever. I heard Tubi pays, at least they pay okay. I don't expect to make a ton of money, but also I don't want to get fucked.
Right.
Excuse my language, but
Uh, it's a rated R show. You're all right.
okay.
Um,
I mean, the movie's rated, unrated.
Unrated.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I can't afford a rating. The fuck.
Here's a funny thing. So when I was a kid, when I was like 13, I went to the video store with my friend and we rented two movies. One movie was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, you know, and the other one was this
Secret of
little
the Ooze
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, and the
No,
second
that's oh my
that's
god,
Teenage Mutant
that's
Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But there was
But
like the Ooze guy and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
yeah, yeah.
I saw that shit in the theater, so I know.
And then the other one was a little movie called Kids.
Oh
Yeah.
God, are you serious?
So I'm 13 years old, walking up to the video store clerk with both movies. Now we did both movies because we didn't want because we knew that we knew what Kids was, and we knew we were gonna get in trouble if like my friend's mom saw us watching it.
Yeah,
So we had the plan that we were gonna take it out and put the other one in there as quickly as possible when she got home. That way it looked like we were watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when really we were watching something we weren't really allowed to be watching. So we get up to the clerk and he looks at it and it says not like unrated or whatever, or not. I think it was like unrated. And at that time, he had no idea what unrated meant, that like it was
yeah, yeah,
so bad that they didn't go on the rating because it would have got an X rating basically for
yeah.
it. So, or NC-17. So they just went unrated. So he looked at it and he goes, unrated. And he didn't know like how old you had to be to get an unrated movie. And it's like, yeah, I'll let him go, let him watch it.
That's amazing. Kids is
Oh,
not a movie for a 13-year-old. Oh man.
not for kids, man. It was not. Neither is the movie 13.
No, 13's another one.
I know.
They're both good movies, but
Great movies and about kids, about like real shit that goes on in kids'
exactly.
lives.
It's like should be something every parent watches, but maybe not every kid.
Yeah, you should wait a couple more years. All I always remember from that movie, like everybody remembers like a lot of like some of the sexual stuff or whatever. I remember that they beat the living crap out of a kid with their skateboards and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking badass. Like when I was a kid, I loved that shit. Like that was the scene I loved. I didn't because I was 13, I didn't understand like I mean, I was a sheltered kid. You have to understand this. I didn't
Oh yeah.
understand any of the drugs or sex or anything. Like that shit
I
was just
wouldn't have
going
either.
right over my head. But like them beating the shit out of a kid, and like all the white kids beating the shit out of a black kid, that just shit was like not something you could ever see in anything. Like
No.
definitely not even something that today would be allowed. And for good reason, absolutely. But I just thought it was like, holy crap, this was why I watched it, and shit. And then later on, I got to see it again years later, and I own it, on
I have it
DVD.
on VHS actually.
I don't know if I have it on VHS. I don't think so,
Because
because
I think the DVD's out of print, is it not?
I don't know, but I have it. So
Well, you could
look at
probably
me.
sell it to someone along with your loop copy for
I know, apparently so. To go back to the loop. Hey, we looped around. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm really. I see. I love the fact that in Spirit Animal there were a lot of puns.
Oh my god, I wanted all the puns. So one of my biggest inspirations for Spirit Animal is Nail Gun Massacre, if you've ever seen that.
No, I've heard of it
Oh
though.
my god. You first off, watch Nail Gun Massacre. Second, like the one-liners and stuff the killer gives, even like the voice, like I wanted like some reverb on the killer's voice. I was like, I wanted to mimic Nail Gun Massacre, not like make it totally obvious, but like a reference. So like yeah, Nail Gun Massacre was a huge inspiration. Cause like there's a scene in Nail Gun Massacre when he like puts the nail, shoots the nail in the guy's head, and he's like, "Oh, don't you just hate those headaches, the ones between the eyes?" I was like, I want stuff like that. So
Well, I also thought maybe a little bit like I'm wearing the James Balsamo Bite School shirt. I don't know if you've ever
I haven't seen Bite School.
but do you know James Balsamo though, right?
I don't know because I can't
Oh,
think of the name. Maybe I
oh
do,
my
maybe I don't.
God, you gotta watch it. He's nothing but puns. Like that dude made a whole book full of puns, a pun book.
Oh, I
Like
haven't.
that's all he does. Like, and he does this like because I've known James for years. And ever since I first met him at a horror convention, I think it was 2012 or something. I met him at a horror convention, and I think it was Horror Realm. It
Oh
might have been,
shit, Horror Realm in Pittsburgh? No, that's
yeah,
different Horror Realm. Really,
yeah.
you were in Pittsburgh?
This was 2012, I guess. Yeah, something like
Shit.
that.
This was when I first moved here.
For real? Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to. Okay, so my first one was 2010. I went to Horror Find, which was in Gettysburg, for a
Okay.
while. Then Horror Find, I guess it didn't work out or whatever. Like it did for
Yeah.
years or whatever, but it just kind of faded. And now it's Scares I Care, which is in
Okay.
Williamsburg.
I know about Scares the Care.
Yeah, I actually go there. I'm hoping to go this year because it's literally right up the street from my house. So
Yeah.
I have no excuse. I can't be like, oh, it's going to cost so much money to drive, like literally could just go and see everybody if I wanted to. And I will. And the big thing now is like you have to wear the mask and everything. And so I'm like, like it's just one of those things where it's going to be a little awkward at first, getting
Yeah.
used to going to the conventions. And I hate the masks necessarily because my glasses get fogged up, or
So do I.
just it's just uncomfortable, or you can't
Yeah.
barely breathe in it and stuff. And so it's not going to be fun, but it's understandable even with everybody getting the vaccines and everything. Even if everybody there is vaccinated, it's still better to wear masks and be,
Mhm.
careful. And so, but anyway, the point is, so Horror Realm, yeah, I met James, and James had like he would just do puns just talking to me, you know, like that dude, just that he doesn't even, I don't even know, like he never plans it, you know, he just can do it off the top of his head. So he has like one character, he does this movie called Killer Waves. There's one character where he actually does nothing. His character does nothing but puns, or the killer does nothing but puns.
Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous. It reminded me of your character, and I was like, oh, I love it, because it reminds me of Freddy Krueger or
Oh yeah. I
the
mean,
mask.
Nightmare on Elm Street. You asked me my favorite movie. Nightmare on Elm Street was what I grew up on. So
The first
also
one,
got
or which one's
the
your
whole
favorite?
series.
Which
I
one's
love
your
them.
favorite?
The first one,
For real?
1, 3, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Wait,
So
what?
all the Wes Craven ones first.
Yeah, all the Wes Craven ones. I'm a huge fan of Freddy's Dead. I
Yeah.
That was a favorite when I was growing up. Now I'm playing with Power. Nice hearing from you, Carlos. Like great kills. And then what? Probably 4, 2, and 5. Did I get them all?
Yeah, I think so. And
Yeah.
unless you count Jason versus Freddy, but
I loved Freddy vs. Jason. I saw that in the theater with my dad. That was one of the best theater experiences I've ever had. And I don't care what anyone says, that movie is awesome and everything anyone could ask for, except Kane Hodder wasn't in it, but still, badass movie. Still holds
ex-
up.
exactly. It's funny that I say Jason versus Freddy. You say it the way it's actually is, Freddy
Yeah.
versus Jason. I always call it Jason versus Freddy because Jason's my man. Like if I had to choose,
See, I'm a big Freddy fan. I mean, I
yeah,
love Jason too, but I'm a big Freddy.
nope, nope. I was
Freddy's got the
rooting for Jason,
personality and
man.
puns.
Jason was my homie, man. I grew up on his movies compared
Yeah.
because I didn't like Nightmare on Elm Street because of all the gore. And I'm not that like I think gore is terrible or whatever, but like it just got to be like part 5 especially like had just this just ridiculous amount of gore that it just becomes this part where it's just that's like the movie, you know, like
Yeah.
it's not about the character anymore. It's about
Oh
like
no,
how
it's just
gross we
about
can be.
Freddy and the kills and the gore.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just, but it's funny you say part like 1, 3, and 7 are you like your
Yeah,
favorite, but 4 is definitely my favorite.
four is
And
great.
I mean, it's fantastic, but it's weird because I think what I like is the humor, just the same as I like the one movie from Friday the 13th that everybody hates. I bet you can guess which one that is.
What is it? Five?
Oh no,
People
I
don't hate five, or you mean Jason Goes to Hell?
nope, nope. People do hate that one too.
I
Hmm.
love Jason Goes to Hell. That used
I
to be
know.
my favorite, but four is. Well, what you mean, Jason X?
No, Jesus. Jason Takes
How
Manhattan.
many Jason movies do people hate? Jesus.
Jason Takes Manhattan. People hate that movie
Oh
because
yeah, people
half
do, but
the
I enjoy Jason Takes Manhattan. I mean, I enjoy all of them honestly, but Jason Takes Manhattan is fun,
yeah.
and people get pissed because he isn't in Manhattan the whole time, but that's okay. Like he's on the boat, it's fun. Like who cares? I
Somebody
enjoy
said it
it,
should be called Jason Takes a Cruise to Manhattan.
and
And
maybe it should, but
maybe it should have, but like, or it could have been called like Death Cruise, because most of it took place on the cruise,
yeah,
it didn't matter. But I like that wasn't even even the just because if he was all in Manhattan, I think I would have been bored. You know, like I think Rob, the director, did a fantastic job because I don't think like I think I would have been absolutely bored had he just been walking through Manhattan and there was just jokes the whole time because that's all it
yeah,
was when he was in Manhattan. It was like, and that's what I liked. That's the part I
like
liked is
the
a lot of the
radio
jokes, the
or
radio,
people
or
listen to that music. I mean, that's classic. That's like, yeah,
I actually stole one of the scenes in one of my it didn't work nearly as well, but I stole the scene where the boxer is punching him and everything.
yeah,
And then he was like, "All right, your turn." And he just goes like knocks his head off.
so great.
I stole that for like Sasquatch vs. Yeti, my promo thing I did. And I had the girl running up and going, fighting him. And then he goes, "All right, big boy, your turn." And he was like, like,
Kind of
was,
reminds me of Killer Clowns too when he says, "What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?" You know, like that type of thing.
I
It's
didn't watch Killer Clowns until sort of recently.
are
And
you serious?
here's the thing. I don't like clowns. Now, I don't like, I'm not scared of clowns. I just don't like them in horror movies.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of them because Pennywise doesn't scare me, necessarily. The new, it was pretty, well, the first one, at least part one was pretty freaking scary. The second one, it got kind of,
I didn't like the second one that much, and
I
I
feel like
still
they're
prefer the
trying
old
to like have like
miniseries.
messages in that one or
Yeah,
something like too much. There was too much of a political like thing, and I was like, wait a minute, this is like completely different than the one I just saw. But no, I like the first one. I thought it was actually genuinely scary, in a way, but it wasn't the clown that necessarily scared me,
yeah,
Though there was an Are You Afraid of the Dark episode that did terrify me as a kid. The Laughing in the Dark, that did terrify me as a kid with the
I
clown.
love that show. That was another. That was the show that made my love for horror grow.
Right?
Definitely.
Like, did you, when you were a kid, were you one of those kids that watched like horror TV shows?
Oh yeah, I love Goosebumps and All You're Afraid of the Dark. I always reference Ghostbusters too. I still think the guy in the painting is fucking creepy. And
The
I actually
Vigo.
watched Ghostbusters 2 recently, and I always kind of preferred that over the first one for whatever reason. I don't know. I just loved it when I was a kid, but that guy in the painting creeped me out. I remember. And
Uh,
Large Marge from Pee Wee.
yeah, it's funny.
Terrifying.
Ghostbusters 2 was, I think, the first movie I saw, the first movie I remember seeing in the theater as a kid.
That's amazing.
That's the only thing I can remember because I remember that, but then I remember watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but that was like a year or two later or something. So
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, that must have been the first one I remember because I'm sure I went to movies with like my parents,
Yeah.
before then because my dad loved taking me to movies.
Yeah.
But and that's probably where I got my love for cinema, apparently, like period. But like uh, Ghostbusters 2, I remember seeing that, and like I can remember clear as day, remember watching it in the theater.
Yeah.
And just because I loved the first Ghostbusters when I heard they were making and the real Ghostbusters. So, and
Yeah.
they're making another one. All right,
Thank God.
another
I'm
one's
I'm
coming out in
waiting. It's
June,
done. I'm just waiting for November.
November.
It's coming out in November after
What?
like
What? Wait, when was that? No, I thought it was coming out in June.
I wish.
Did they just switch it?
They switched it whenever. Tell me I'm wrong,
Oh
please.
my
I'd
God,
love
you're
it
right.
to. I know I'm right. I'm like a huge Ghostbusters fan. But
Damn it.
like back to Ghostbusters too, like the slime and stuff under the city, reminiscent of the blob, like that movie has a lot of creepy shit in it. I don't care. If you're a kid and you're watching that,
I
it's
know.
creepier than the first one with a big
Well,
marshmallow man.
okay, so the first movie scared the shit out of me so bad that I couldn't watch it for a while. My parents wouldn't let me watch it because it freaked me out.
Yeah.
And it was the scene that scared me was the dog's arm coming up and
Oh
grabbing
yeah.
Dana and like pulling her, because I would always watch it up in my living room and in one of the chairs, and I would always look at the door, the living room door, the front door, and I'd be like, oh God, there's like, like all
Yeah.
that. And so I remember like my parents were like, you can't watch this, it's too scary for you. And then I'd watch the cartoon, and the cartoon scared me. And it was like there was like a Poultrygeist episode is what it was called. It was like this, which is funny that later on Trauma made
Yeah.
Poultrygeist.
I
But
actually went to that New York City premiere of Poultrygeist, not to get off topic again. And that was the first time I met Lloyd. And that was like one of the greatest nights ever. With my dad again. My dad was very supportive of my love for horror. And I was in a high school. I think like a senior. I must have been 17, 18. I wasn't 21. I couldn't go to the after party, but that was awesome. But back to your Ghostbusters.
well, it's funny your dad like did that. And my dad does not like horror films,
Yeah.
but he would support whatever. And he watched. I remember he was watching the first Friday the 13th with me, but he would allow me to watch it because it was on USA where all the good stuff was cut out or whatever. Back when
Yeah,
USA actually showed good shit, you know.
exactly.
Um, I don't even know what they show now, but
I
I
have
can't.
no idea.
Um,
Probably psych repeats.
or yeah, or in NCIS 2000. I don't know, whatever. So anyway, to go back to that, so we watched Friday the 13th. I remember uh, my dad was at what is it? He was watching. You know how it's. I mean, spoiler alert! If you haven't seen the original Friday the 13th, don't listen. But the killer is Jason's mom, right?
Wait, what?
What? That's the answer in Scream. Which apparently would still probably confuse some people because people would
I know.
automatically
Yeah.
think Jason when they think Friday the 13th. So when you think, who's the killer in Friday the 13th, it's Jason to everybody normally, but it's really the first one is. So you'd have to be like, which Friday the 13th are you talking about? The first one or every other one that has Jason in it? But
Part
anyway,
five doesn't have Jason in it.
well, no, it has Jason in it. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people that will argue that because I actually saw an article recently that said that maybe Jason possessed Roy, you know?
Oh, come on.
He was too Jason like. I mean, it was not because that was the lamest ending. And I never, for the longest time, did not know until people pointed it out. I was always like, who the fuck is that? When
Because
they
his
did it.
mask looks completely fucking different than the last ones.
That's true. That's true. But I always just thought, but all their masks, like, have you ever seen how many masks there are in Friday the 13th? There are a
Yeah,
million
just
masks.
like how many Michael Myers masks there are.
I know.
Anything. Camp Blood masks. We're
Oh my
not going to
goodness.
go down that road,
Well, that's funny because I actually, when I was watching Spirit Animal, I saw a little Camp Blood in Spirit Animal in a way, like the
which is
spirit of
okay
Camp
with
Blood.
me.
At least the original Camp Blood. I not some of the other Camp
Which
Bloods that.
I didn't see Camp Blood till one or two or any of them till after Spirit Animal's completely done.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's funny. I can
And
kind of like.
also, like, I didn't watch Splatter Farm, which is like one of my favorite SOV movies now, till like halfway through filming. And when I watched it, I was showed it to my special effects artist and literally everything. Joe Ruscio, he played Ralph. He did the cinematography. He did all the special effects. He he edited it. He did everything. Him and I did everything. And I was like, I want the special effects to look like this. If you've seen Splatter Farm, because
I
I
have
wanted
not
that.
yet. I need to
Oh
watch
my
it, but
god,
it's on my
huge
to.
Colonia Brothers fan.
So I have a show, another show, because I have a million of them right now.
Yes,
People
you do.
people joke on me about that, but I don't care. One of the shows is called Horror Film Lovers, and it's more focused on like pretty good, horror films. We did
Pretty good.
like good ones, like not.
Not great, not terrible, just pretty good.
I mean, some are great. Like I'm sure you've seen The Stuff,
Oh yeah, I just got that
Larry
on
Cohen
Blu-ray.
movie. And
It's a great
yeah,
one.
I've got that on Blu-ray too. Do
I
I?
used to have the stuffed candle, but it's gone now. I mean,
Oh,
I burnt it up. I mean, I still have it, but it can't burn it anymore. Anyway.
well, I wanted to do the stuff, for horror
Yeah.
film lovers. So I did back, like before I went to LA. I did that, and it's funny. This show has been in its first season since, yeah, 2019, I guess. So it's like I just want to wrap it up for the first season, so
Oh,
then
I bet.
because it's only on like episode 5, I think, or something. And I'm like, good God, we need to, out of 10, we're going to try to do 10. So I'm like, so we got one coming up in the next week, and I don't know what it is yet, but I want to pick something that I enjoy, that I like and everything. So it's really tough because I want to find one that's on Tubi. And Tubi has a lot of great stuff. I'm not going to
Yeah,
lie.
they do.
They have a
Tubi
lot
is
of
one of my favorite.
they have a lot of great ones, but then they have a lot of really bad ones too.
Yeah, they do.
So, which is great for different shows, like I
Yes.
can watch those for What the Fuck Friday or one of the other ones that I do, but
Yeah.
not for horror film lovers. I just got to find the ones that, that people love. 80s horror films has obviously all 80s stuff, and everything. So most of the time I try to not do any more 80s movies for any of the other ones because we're gonna run out of them at some point.
There's plenty of 80s movies though.
Yeah, and
Even
and that
beside like the real obvious ones, there's so many other obscure and good ones.
yeah, I love doing that because we got Rebecca Reinhardt on that one, and
I love Rebecca.
I
She's
know
out.
you do, and I know you work with her on as
SOBs who
SOBs.
love SOV.
That's a
Because
hard thing to say. I'm sorry.
no, you're good.
But yeah, SOBs that love SOV. Can you tell us a little bit about that podcast there?
Yeah, I mean, after I like had done Spirit Animal and I put up the trailer, Rebecca contacted me about being on the show. Tony Masiello, who runs SLV Horror, and you didn't know about Tony and SLV Horror, go to slvhorror.com or whatever the website is. Buy
He's
some shit.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of good shit. But he was like getting married, so they were looking for a replacement. So actually we were doing video violence. I got the shirt on right now. And I got to be on the show and they just kept me on. And we always review shot on video movies. I'm a huge shot on video fan. So
It's funny because like back in the day when I was, and I say back in the day, this is like just a little over like
2 years
15,
ago.
it's like 15 years ago. So
Okay,
I
that's
guess
back in the day.
that's back in the day. But even though like I'm old enough where back in the day means I was in my 20s, that's sad, you know, like,
Yeah.
um, but like, I was on MySpace. That's back in the day. And,
Oh, back in the day. Top friends. Who was your top friends? I'm just kidding.
no, it was probably my films or whatever that I was planning to make at one point or another, or whatever, like Sasquatch vs. Yeti or Plan B from Outer Space, or
Plan B from first.
yeah, which I'm still planning to make someday, but that would be like my last B movie. Like I want that to
Yeah.
be my ultimate B movie with all the, whatever. Um, so it will be something I plan to do. So I plan to do, oh my God, I did not, everything I'm saying, I did not plan that. I'm sorry. That's just terrible. I'm getting just as bad as like the joke, the puns and stuff. But
Oh yeah. Never
uh,
get old. Never get
I,
sick of puns.
oh no, I love them. As long as they're good. If they're like, I want to ask you a question, like it
Okay,
gets.
are you shitting on Jack Frost?
Well, no, because
I mean, that was
that's
I only asked you for a smoke, but still. You're not gonna
no,
shit on Jack Frost, okay? This
no,
is the
no,
greatest.
no, because Jack Frost was like 96 that it got made.
It was 96.
So yeah, it was 96 that it was made or put out. And you know what? I'll give that a slide because you know what? That was 96.
Wait, what was there was a axed in Thanksgiving reference. Axed.
Yeah, that was terrible, but I'm pretty
Oh, if
sure.
you're gonna talk shit on Thanksgiving, I'm
I
gonna have to kick
love
you off this
Thanksgiving.
now.
I'm saying some of it was terrible. Like
Gobble
you
gobble,
can't
motherfucker.
you can't well, gobble gobble motherfuckers is probably one of the best lines. But I'm sad that they made that into the tagline because like
Thanksgiving, not titsgiving. Sorry, you
yeah,
don't
no,
want to get me
it's a great. I have not seen the sequel yet. Still, but we're
Oh,
planning to do that eventually for Indie Film Cafe.
good luck.
Um, we did the first one back in, it was really funny. So we switched, me and Paul, my co-host, did Thanksgiving in December, which is not the right time. And I did Santa Sleighs in November. And that was just like, it was just completely like we were talking later on about, oh man, we should have should have switched, because
Santa Slay is so good.
oh man, it was ridiculous. Fran Drescher in a horror film, for like 2 seconds, but still,
Yeah,
that was because that was like most ridiculous. They were like, let's put all the cast members that we could put on the cover on the poster, into the first 10 minutes and then just kill them off, like
it was great.
big names, or whatever. I loved it. It was so bad and fun, you know. Um,
That's all that matters. Since that is fun.
right. Because here's the thing, for Indie Film Cafe, we want to make sure people understand we like bad movies, we don't like, we're not, oh man, this is bad so we can't, we just don't like boring bad movies or
Yeah,
something, like as long as you are entertaining and silly and you know what you're doing, or especially if you're
that's
Tommy
all that
Wiseau, you don't know what you're doing, like we love you even more. And speaking of Tommy Wiseau, there was some room lines in in Spirit
Yes,
Animal, and I loved it. I mean, I was because there's character Lisa, and then I was like, oh
yes.
come on, you're not gonna. Yep, you did it. You went
And
there,
Lisa, I mean, I didn't even name the character Lisa. Like, I mean, for that reason, I just came up with that line later, I
right?
believe.
You're
Or
tearing me
maybe
apart.
Joe and I did. I can't remember who came up with what anymore. A lot of it was improv, but I think it was in the original script. Like,
Well, I'm hoping because Tommy Wiseau is supposed to be putting out Big
Big
Shark,
Shark.
and I'm hoping he says, "You're tearing me apart, Shark."
if they don't do that, they're missing out on a huge opportunity.
I know, like at least because nobody's gonna watch Big Shark for the for you know what I mean. Like nobody's watching it because it's gonna be a cinematic, beautiful
Oh no,
movie or something. They're
you're
gonna
watching
watch it
because
because it's freaking Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero working together again on something goofy in a Big Shark movie. I'm
yeah.
actually you might be interested. I just got cast in a shark movie.
Whoa, give me the deets.
I will. I'll announce it right here because I think by the time that this comes out, there should be. I mean, there already is. It's already announced that it's in it and everything. And I was sort of the um the reason it exists, but there's a movie being made right now called was the title's so ridiculous. It's like Shark, you son of a bitch.
Oh shit! Yeah, I did
Yeah.
hear about that. I think
So
there's
John
a
Johnson.
crowdfunding campaign. Is
Yeah.
there right now?
Yeah.
I gotta still get to it.
So what happened was John Johnson, the guy who did like the Plan 9 remake and
Skeleton Key.
yeah, Skeleton Key. So you're aware of John.
Yeah,
John lives in Charlottesville, and
yeah.
Paul and I went up to watch a couple stinkers with them, before up in his D house. And we interviewed him and stuff like that. And I'm like, we're close friends with him. So we were just like, we showed him Snow Shark. And he was just like, there's so many bad CGI sharks. What if there was a movie where that's all it was a bad CGI shark? And so, like that was killing everybody. And then we watched, there was a little movie that was coming out at the same time because he had the idea of CGI shark, right?
Bad CGI sharks,
Exactly.
which
So
was
real
amazing.
was it? So that was his idea. And he was like, damn it, somebody already beat me to the punch and did it, because it was a great idea. So he's like, you know what? Let's just have like, there's that line, you son of a bitch, that's in every fucking shark movie. So why don't we make a whole movie of that, with the bad CGI stuff, I guess. I don't know. It was the bad CGI shark, and it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. I've already seen the preview thing that they showed. I'm sure you saw it, and it looks just
I actually don't think I have. I still need to look that up. But I
yeah.
mean, I gotta give the money towards that campaign ASAP. So
There you go. Give it. Johnny would be proud that I pitched Sharky son
yeah,
of a bitch to you. But that's what you do. You watch shitty shark movies all the time.
I do,
You
and
know.
I have a podcast called the Shitty Shark Show where we review shitty shark movies every other week. So I've been doing that as well.
Is there one that you haven't seen yet that's like the one that's gotten away from you so far? Like one you can't wait to see?
Not that I can really think of, to be honest. I've seen most of them. There's one coming out from SRS called Jaws of the Shark, and it's like a shark with legs with a chainsaw. Really excited for that one, if you've heard of it. And SRS is usually pretty. They've been releasing a lot of shark movies lately, and
A
they've been
little
pretty.
movie called House Shark.
Fucking love House Shark.
A lot of people fucking love that movie.
It's so fun. So,
I adore Ron, so and I'm sure you do too.
oh,
So
Ron's awesome, and he's actually from near my hometown in upstate New York. I used to always see him at Scaricon, which
oh,
was
nice.
near like I always say near Albany, but it was at Turning Stone in upstate New York. So I saw him there a few times. Like always, such a nice guy. I have nothing but nice things to say about Ron.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
she kills his like so fucking good.
I still haven't seen it yet, but I
It's
gotta.
better than I love House Shark, but she kills. Yes, his best.
I'm actually like a guy that lived in Virginia that I was friends with actually worked on those, which is Michael Merchant. So
Mhm.
I've been dying to watch, his stuff because just there's so much going on there. But just it's hard because unless I'm reviewing it or something, It's hard for
Yeah.
me to watch things, like I
Yeah,
have
of
to.
course.
Ugh. But anyway, we're like this show went off topic a lot, but I think we did cover a lot of you in this.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't do that.
What do
Oh,
you think of Freaky Willie?
that is cute.
Yeah, his teeth are kind of fucked up, but so I wanted to give a little story about the Freaky Willie. I was looking everywhere online for an orca whale mask. Could not fucking find one anywhere. So I bought this frog mask and Joe painted this. He made little teeth on them, which teeth are kind of fucked up, like I said. He painted it black and white like a whale, and things terrifying.
Yeah, I was a little I was a little more freaked out about that one than a lot of the other ones. A lot of the other ones were silly and fun, like the
Oh
ball
yeah,
head
and
and
I also have
the tiger.
the tiger mask that he puts on Lisa near the end. So
Yeah. So, oh, I forgot to ask you the biggest question. What would be your spirit animal?
oh, a shark, obviously.
So that's what you pick. I was trying.
Yeah, of course.
I was trying to think of what I would pick.
Yeah, what would you pick? Because you can only have one spirit animal, not multiple, just one.
I'd
It's
probably
an
pick a
important lesson
cheetah.
to learn, okay?
I'd probably pick a cheetah.
Cheetah, because they're fast.
Yeah, and not just because they're fast, because I like them. I just think they're cute
Yeah,
and they're just nice and just they're like I mean the fastness is awesome because I would love to run really fast and not get tired. That'd be
of
awesome.
course.
But I don't know. I've always just liked cheetahs out of all like animals. But see, I'm like thinking when you talk about spirit animals and stuff and things, people always think of like cats, in some way, jaguars, lions, tigers, those,
Yeah.
whatever. But I mean, cheetah, I don't know. I feel like the cheetah doesn't get as much
No, it
respect
doesn't.
and stuff. So I like the cheetahs. They've never made a cheetah horror film yet. I don't think
Yet.
so yet. I'm telling you, there are going to be movies at some point. We're going to look in like 20 more years, 30 more years or something. And there's just because people are running out of ideas,
Oh, they are.
and they got to like start going, okay, let's do a Killer Cheetah movie now. Let's
Why
do it.
not?
Right. I mean, I'm giving people ideas that's floating out in the ether. Somebody right now is going, you know what? I should write this, Killer Cheetah movie, because it's out there in the ether. I don't know. But that's what, you know, uh, that's what the world is right now. We're kind of low on ideas.
Yeah.
So, and
I mean, I think spirit animal is a fairly original idea for what
it
it was.
is.
I think, like, just in general, the whole idea of like killing someone to have them come back as animals to save the earth.
Well, yeah,
It's a
because
really cool idea. And I've always found reincarnation or like, you know, recycling people into like parts of the earth was a cool idea. So I really incorporated that.
oh, exactly, with the tree especially and everything, and then
And the tree actually wasn't even in there in the original script. So we started filming March 20, what, 19? And I was like, I wanted, obviously it takes place in New Year's. We didn't talk about it as a New Year's movie. Um, so obviously with everyone's schedules and everything, it took forever to film. We didn't wrap till our world premiere was March 13th, 2020, right before the world shut down.
yep.
But we wrapped not long before that. So it took a year to film. So we decided to add global warming into the mix to explain why the trees were like growing back and it wasn't bare all the time and why
Right.
it wasn't looking like winter and they were going to bumfuck West Virginia. So the tree came after, and actually, I was showing Joe Killer Nerd because we were talking about a head explosion, and you've seen Killer Nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know the head explosion near the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the greatest head explosion of all time. Sorry, scanners. I showed Joe that, and I was like, "This is what I want the head explosion to be." And like whenever we were watching it, it was like, what if Toby Radloff played the tree? So I messaged him. Toby was amazing, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sure, why not?" He sent me the voice clips, and boom. So it was
That
super
is
cool. Everything just kind of came together, and like a lot of this wasn't even part of the original script, and that's why I love Spirited and how it came together and how everything just kind of worked out. I think,
that's really
yeah,
sweet. Like
yeah,
it's sometimes it's just luck, you know.
yeah.
Like I
I
mean,
mean, I would say it was a lot of luck.
it was a lot of luck, or it wasn't.
It was,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Just how those things came together, because it could have been like just a basic run of your mill slasher movie, like with some comedy and stuff, but like adding the tree and everything. And Joe made that tree out of cardboard and like I think he put tobacco on it to make it look like bark. And again, I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep praising Joe because he's incredible, but he did so much for it, and it's
Well,
incredible.
that's good because
Yeah.
a lot of people would just praise themselves, but you're out there
Oh,
praising,
yeah,
and that's wonderful because the I think that the great thing about the movie is just it was fun. Like it wasn't,
that's what I wanted.
it's not boring at all. There's because like what I feel like happens throughout the movie is anytime that maybe, and this is what I think more people should do, honestly. And I think you handled it for this movie specifically well. Was I think that more people should do a movie where if it does feel like things are starting to slow down, kill somebody off or introduce a new character that gets killed off or
Yeah,
something. And that's what happens. Like I feel like once you get to know the characters, but once it starts getting to that like kind of formulaic thing, all of a sudden somebody's out there getting murdered, and then it
yeah.
then it moves on. Then you get back to whatever, right?
I
And
wanted to keep the kills pretty consistent. And again, the cow scene wasn't in the original script either, but I was like, those were two friends I had from high school, Brandon and Brandon, um, from high school. So I filmed that in upstate New York. And I decided on that later because I was like, I'd love to have like a scene where a cow chops people up into meat.
yeah,
And I was like, oh well, let me get my friends to do this. And originally I wanted my friend Brandon Kazar to be like a pervert, like spying on the neighbor, but he didn't want to do that. So, but it works out because it's funny. He's got binoculars, then they're watching them for whatever reason. It's kind of funny.
yeah, they don't even say why. They're just like
Worried
even I
about
think
them
there's
because
even
of
that
the
line like that there's like far away from the house. Like what are they doing out here kind of thing. And I think that was what sort of was fun. Like it just was
yeah,
silly and goofy and like that's the thing with your writing too, is that like you were saying that they had to write things to make explain things, and so I
yeah.
feel like sometimes you did that well enough where it was sort of jokey, like you
Oh
know
yeah. I mean, you can't really take the plot or anything seriously.
not really, but like I still like the idea that a person like had all the spirit animals like
Exactly.
kind of and formed into one kid who now is an
Yeah.
adult killing people.
And I mean, I wrote this movie with the idea of a trilogy in mind, and who knows if that'll ever happen? It probably won't, but I'd love it if it did. I have so many other ideas too. But I
Well,
did
there you
write
go.
this as just the beginning, but
Just the
we'll see.
begin. I mean, hey, I mean, spoilers ahead once again. But I think this whole interview has been nothing but spoilers when it comes to the movie. But the end with the hand coming out and everything, like it's not,
Yeah,
it's not over. And he even says like, "You can kill me, but I'll just come back."
exactly. And he
And
says he's not the only one.
he's not the only one. So,
Spoiler alert if we ever do a sequel.
well, good. I hope you do a sequel.
Yeah.
Or at least continue. Once again, I think it'd be great to see you continue with the Dingo universe stuff.
Oh, Bathtub Shark Attack will continue with
Yes,
Dingo.
yeah, the Dingo stuff. Like I mean that was just that pizza made me hungry. I'm not gonna lie.
So I've had so many people ask me where I got that pizza from. It looks so good. And I'm like, well, it's a frozen pizza from Giant Eagle. What the fuck?
It looked good. I would have ate it.
I
Uh,
added like extra toppings and cheeses to it, but and I filmed that like one day. Was it Memorial Day or something? I was bored and I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a Dingo Pizza commercial, and I already had some footage, so I put it together and I put it on Memorial Day. So that's
I could hear your voice, by the way. Like when I know your
yeah,
voice, so like when you were doing the voiceover, I was like, ah, there's Maddie right there doing the,
there I am.
which I think was great. I honestly had a serious blast just watching
I'm
the
so glad.
movie, and
Did you
so
like Roxy Balboa? That's the dog at the end. We got to talk about Roxy a
oh,
little bit.
that's
That is the lead actress, and I want to praise Jennifer Louise. She was amazing. Who played Lisa?
mm-hmm.
I got to give her a little praise. She got covered in so much blood, as you've seen in the movie. So much blood. Didn't complain. She was incredible. Always prepared. Just great. And her dog Roxy was the dog in the movie, and that ending again like was Joe's idea. My ending was originally just supposed to be she killed the Rob, and spoilers, whatever. We've covered that, spoilers. And she walked out, and then you were supposed to see like a bear, like a Rob came back as a bear and had glowing eyes. But Joe came up with that idea with the dog, and like we had the whole Carrie reference. So that, and the ending scene's my favorite scene in the whole movie.
It's great. It was fun. Like, I mean, obviously, I knew like when I saw the grave and everything and her at there or whatever, I knew like something like this was going to happen because, obviously I'm a Carrie fan as well. So
Who
I,
isn't?
yeah, so I knew it. And, Friday the 13th, like they wanted that Carrie scene. So they got the
Yep.
scene or whatever where with Jason. So I mean, obviously, it's just kind of a staple now in horror films. So I'm kind of expecting it, but I thought he was going to kill her and not the dog.
Well, here's Roxy's head.
Oh, poor Roxy.
I know. So that's really cool. I mean, this
Yeah.
was like a deer we got off of Amazon. I think Jen so glued down its ears to look more like Roxy. So, and
Oh,
when I had like the bear glove on, Roxy almost like tried to bite me. Not that I blame her. I would do the same thing if a bear hand was trying to grab me. So,
well,
and
that's cute.
Brutus, if we can give him a little
Oh,
screen time. And every time you see Brutus, you take some drinks.
right. Yeah, definitely. There's the Brutus. There's like, well, every time we saw sharks, right? You took
Yes.
drinks.
But every time
Oh,
you see Brutus, you're supposed to take 2 drinks. So,
okay. There
yeah.
you
So
go. So,
Brutus is in the movie quite a bit.
how long have you had Brutus?
Only like 3.5 years or something, but he looks like he's been through a lot.
Well, it's
He
funny
needs some
because
stuffing.
the Necro
He's an
Shark
IKEA
looks a little like Brutus. You know, the for the opening production
Yeah.
company stuff. Like having Brutus?
No, not
Oh,
really. I contacted someone to make me a logo, and that's what they gave me.
oh, just happen to look. Okay, well that's
Yeah, it
awesome.
just happened to look alike.
You're
So
maybe they made. Oh, okay. I don't know if they've seen your stuff, so maybe they saw Brutus.
maybe.
You know, I don't know, but that's wonderful. I'm so glad that I got to see Spirit Animal, and
I'm glad you watched it
yeah, I loved
and
it. So
enjoyed it. And
yeah.
the movie is also in smell-o-vision on DVD,
Oh,
which
nice.
you may have heard about because there's 6 different smells. I don't
There's
know if I
six
have one
different
in the
smells.
car.
I did not hear about that.
Yeah, hold on. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, the DVD, and we have their smell-o-vision cards.
Nice.
So there's
That's
6 different
awesome.
smells.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And also a Dingo pizza menu comes with a DVD as well.
The Smell-O-Vision, was that Nerds? Didn't the Nerds do something like that? The Revenge of the Nerds, they did something like that, I think,
I don't
too.
know. I mostly got that from John Waters and if you've ever seen a movie Popcorn with Joe
Oh,
Solon.
I did not know
Although
that.
that wasn't like scratch and sniff, but that was like really what got me into movie gimmicks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm surprised William Castle didn't get you into movie gimmicks too, but
Well, William Castle too, but
yeah, he's the first one, you know.
exactly.
I think he's the first one. I might be wrong, but you know. Well, thank you so much. This is awesome. I really had a blast, with the show. So thank you so much. Is there anything you want to like let people know you're doing, or let people know what you're up to?
Planning on filming Bathtub Shark Attack later this year, which is going to be in Splashovision, which is a real thing, another gimmick. So get ready because you'll be able to enjoy that in your own home or in the theater.
Nice. Oh, in the theater. That'd be cool. I would love to see Bathtub Shark Attack in the theater. I
Who
think
want?
that's
It's
what's
bringing your biggest irrational childhood fear to life. Hopefully, some people's. What I'm told is a lot of people's irrational childhood fear.
Now, I'm surprised you're not doing Toilet Bowl Shark Attack.
Well, actually, Sean Donahue, director of Death Escort Service, he was gonna do Toilet Shark, but it didn't get funded,
Oh, that's a bummer.
unfortunately.
So you were
But
like, let me do Bathtub Shark then.
I actually had this idea. This is kind of funny. I had the idea for a Bathtub Shark Attack before I wrote Spirit Animal. So I wrote Bathtub Shark Attack as like a 25 minute short film. My actors dropped out, and I was like, fuck it, let's just make a feature because that's easier than making a short.
Yeah,
The
let's go
feature
make a
worked out,
longer movie.
and then we came back to Bathtub and we were like, let's make it happen, but let's make it a feature this time.
Yeah,
So,
there's so many. That's just how it works with independent films. You
yeah,
decide to do a short, but then you're like, let's fuck it, let's make it into a feature.
exactly. So I actually did take some ideas from like bathtubs into Spirit Animal, but they're kind of going to be part of the same universe. So, which I
Good.
think are cool.
Dingo. Put the
So
dingo
like
in there. The dingo
always Dingo.
stuff. Yeah, that's amazing. I can't wait to see it. There you go. There's the dingo. All right. Well, thank you so much, Madeline. This has been awesome.
Oh yeah, always a pleasure chatting with you.
Definitely. So stick around. I'm going to chat with you after. But everybody else, thank you guys so much for checking this out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let Madeline know.
Yeah.
I'll probably send a link to your Facebook so that people who want to purchase a DVD can. Or maybe an email address might be better, I guess, right? Where they can just
Either
email you.
one.
So thank you guys so much. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll also check out indiefilmcafe.reviews, indiefilmcafe.podbean.com, sickflickproductions.com, and was it indiefilmcafe or wait, patreon.com/indiefilmcafe if you want to donate $1 to help us out. We really, really appreciate it. And you get stuff for it. So thank you guys so much and have a good one. Bye.
Bye.